All right, moving on to the next one. What are we doing?
So this is what's called a feel eyes finger drill. Okay, so we'll start with the process of feeling the gun, your contact with the gun, your pressure points, friction, leverage, controlling the gun, managing recoil. That's what our first line is going to be. We're not going to be worried about trigger control on that line. We're not going to be worried about sight alignment, sight picture, none of that stuff. Just getting a good grip on the gun and managing the recoil. The next row will be your eyes. Okay, a hard front sight focus, seeing what you need to see.
So this is, again, breaking down those fundamentals and focusing on one individually as you walk through this.
Exactly. Your third row, we're still on eyes, but now instead of having a hard sight focus, we've got a hard target, soft sight focus. So it makes you shift focus with your eyes, because typically in any kind of situation, stressful, we're not going to be looking for your front sight. You're going to be more target oriented.
Yes. I agree. So our fourth row is your finger, making sure you get a good press of the trigger. And well, I'm going to kind of go into detail just a little bit when we get to that row, because there's a little bit of controversy there depending on what your belief is. And then the last row, we're going to tie it all together with a draw. So each, typically, like I said, it's designed 3 shots per dot. We'll probably do 1, maybe 2 per dot for economics sake. Yeah. I'm married with kids. Crockett's probably got kids, so. Oh, I could come out here and do 1,000 rounds a day, I tell you. Financially, nope, can't do it.
Yeah, I do it in my head all the time.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Okay.
So basically for this first row, like I said, we're working on recoil management, getting good friction and getting good leverage on the gun, maximizing our contact with the gun through basically just using the laws of physics to do it for us. Least amount of effort, remember that. Economy of effort, that's what it boils down to. The harder you have to work, the easier it's going to be. So I'm just going to focus on getting a really good grip. Nice high tang grip. I'm not worried about anything else, just that. Basically, all that is just me trying to maximize. I look at it as trying to basically just mash my hands into the grip, almost like a baker would knead dough. If you're baking bread or whatever, that's a terrible analogy, but basically that's what we're talking about. You know, just friction and leverage on the gun. Okay. Own the gun, don't let the gun own you, basically is what we're talking about here. For this next one, we're just going to worry about front sight focus. Okay, getting a good, nice, hard front sight on the dot and pressing the shot. Clear front sight, press. And this is kind of where we can sort of expose our failure points, expose our own tendencies and self-diagnose. Started out okay, but I got a little lazy at the end.
Yeah.
You know, I got honestly more obsessed with just pulling the trigger.
Pulling the trigger, yeah.
And we all do that.
So again, this helps remind us, okay, I need to focus on this certain aspect.
Exactly, and you tend to get ahead of yourself.
Yep. I've noticed the same thing when I come out here and do the stuff that I've done.
Yeah.
Same thing.
So for the third one, we're gonna, instead of worrying so much about the front sight, we're gonna worry about the actual target itself. And that's why I choose big bright orange dots, because they make you focus on the dot. So just clear target focus, and I'm only gonna do one round per dot here, just for ammo's sake.
Yeah, I'm getting there too.
Okay, and that's kind of basically how that would go. Again, and most people will find they'll actually shoot better that way. They'll shoot more instinctively that way.
Yeah.
For the fourth dot, all we're gonna focus on is trigger control. Now, you can ask yourselves, and there's a lot of different debates out there, pressing the trigger straight to the rear. How do you do that? I'm gonna tell you something, you can't. Because the trigger works on a fulcrum. The trigger moves on a fulcrum. And even on 1911s where the trigger moves straight back, guess what? Now your finger's the fulcrum. So instead of worrying so much about pulling the trigger straight back to the rear, try and focus more on finishing with your finger flat across the trigger face, if that makes any sense. So basically, if this is the face of the trigger and this is your trigger finger, don't care if you start here, don't care if you start here, but as you press the shot, finishing flat.
You're trying, given the fulcrums that are inherent in both the trigger and or finger, you're trying to make it as flat as you can.
Exactly. Because it's not physically possible to pull it straight back to the rear. And that's all we're doing. Almost like inchworming it, if you can. That's another terrible example, but basically just kind of like getting that flat, you know, your trigger finger to be flat across the trigger face. And then for the last one, we just work all of that in with the draw.
Now you're putting it all together.
Putting it all together. So you probably should turn the camera off for this so I don't embarrass myself.
Are there ninja rolls involved in this last one?
Hondo rolls.
Cool.
Hondo rolls. Sorry, my bad. Basically that's all we're doing, is just trying to tie it all in together. And that's your kind of your acclimation of recoil rhythm drill and your feel, eyes, finger. Feeling what you need to feel with the gun, your contact points on the gun, your eyes seeing what they need to see and processing the images, your finger, that finishing flat across the trigger face, and then tying it all in together. So take it for what it's worth, which is nothing, but I hope it helps. I know it helps me. I enjoy doing the drill, even if nothing else, just for fun.
I can tell you already, I haven't done the drill yet, but this I can see how it's going to be beneficial to me.
So basically what we're looking for is, for our first row, just feeling recoil, managing recoil, getting a good purchase on the gun, getting a good grip on the gun, and just, like I said earlier, just really feeling the friction and the leverage on the gun. And you just go at your pace. There's no time limit at all on that.
Okay, so this is more about grip than anything on this.
Yeah, okay. Basically, exactly. It's more about managing the recoil through your grip. Good. Those are pretty good hits.
Yeah.
You got the one that's just a little low on the first one, but
that's called jerking the trigger. So one thing I've noticed too in going through these, for me it takes a little bit of mental training and concentration to concentrate on what you're doing specifically, because a lot of times I'll get out here and it's fun, I'll go through and just pull the trigger. Yeah. So that's why I like these drills, because it forces you to do those things.
Yeah, you have to kind of pay attention.
And one thing I'm noticing is there's kind of a mindset switch, maybe, at least that's my experience.
Yeah. So then for our next row, we're just working on a front sight focus, having a good hard front sight. And just focusing on the front sight. In fact, I'll even actually say out loud, clear front sight, clear front sight. That way you're only focusing on a clear front sight. are a lot better. So then for our next one, again, just a soft front sight and more of a clear target focus. So, you know, shift your focal plane, or if shift your focus point onto the actual dot itself.
There's a whole video discussion on its own surrounding this, this mindset.
Nice. And I'm gonna apologize right now. I'm an idiot with a camera, so Crockett's gonna have his work cut out for him in the editing.
We'll make it work. Okay, and next.
So next, we're just gonna be focusing on our trigger control. Like you know, kind of earlier where we're working on just finishing flat across the trigger face. So using 90% of the trigger pull to take up the slack, and then the last 10% breaking the shot, finishing flat across the trigger face.
Okay. And to me, I'm kind of thinking on some of these things is it might take you a few times running these individual drills to kind of get, oh, okay, I'm getting a feel for what I should be doing.
It kind of takes a minute to have that aha moment, that light bulb on moment.
I find myself having to kind of, those first 1-2 shots, I actually went, oh, hey, what are you doing?
Yep.
Concentrate on what you're doing, not just going through the motions.
Yeah, really being diligent about it.
Yeah, I love it, man. This is fun. Okay, and last
one is we're gonna actually work in a draw. We're gonna basically just tie it all together, incorporating a draw.
All right, guys, so we'll work my draw. I'm still getting set up with this system. So I'm using a holster that's not designed for the M&P. Okay. You know what's fun about this drill too is you can do 5 shots, 4 shots, 17 shots. I don't know if you'd want to go that high on this type of drill, but point being is you can kind of tailor this based on what you want to shoot, how many rounds.
Yeah, and if you identify a trouble spot where I'm having a real hard time focusing on my front sight, you run the whole drill just on your front sight if you want.
Yep. Gosh, what was that drill that I did a video on?
Was the dot torture test?
Yeah, the dot torture. Love that.
That's an awesome one.
So going through that, oh, I didn't do too well on that one. Yeah, then boom, you can hit that one, focus on it.
Yeah.
You found your weakest link, now you can start working on it.
Yeah, exactly. So we got to show these because I'm going to say some pretty good grouping. I mean, certainly there's absolutely nothing wrong with those at all. That whole page, I mean, really, you run that drill pretty good.
Oh, thanks.
Or something.
I try. I've got long ways to go. and I'm going to have fun doing it.
Well, that's kind of the idea.
As an amateur.
Well, it's like you said, you know, it's all a journey, and we just trying to share your journey with other people is, you know, I think that's what attracts people to your channel and other people's channels. Yep. Is sharing the journey. People want to be a part of that journey.
And again, showing your everyday people out here shooting and having fun, and this is a fun process.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Man, my brain's going too with all this stuff. It's fun. I love it. I love it. All right, Casey, that was a lot of fun.
It was, yeah.
I appreciate it. Honestly, guys, we didn't plan any of this. We just kind of come out and said, what do you want to do? Well, I don't know. And this is the result. So, a lot of fun.
Ignore the explosions and rubble behind us. Can't help ourselves.
This place gets really, really busy on Saturdays. If you don't get out here early, good luck.
Yeah.
But I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you can take something from it. You know, take it out and shoot it in your regiments. One thing I really notice about this is I have a tendency to forget that a lot of people aren't as lucky as we are to have this available. So a lot of you guys are stuck going to ranges. Well, this is certainly one of those things you can easily do at a range.
Absolutely.
The drawing part, I understand there's some Nazi ranges that might not let you do that, but anyway, so something you can certainly implement into your shooting regimen.
And Craig, if you don't mind me adding this, you know, kind of like what I said at the onset about this drill, this is a drill that I picked up from another instructor. A great man, Travis Haley. I actually suggest going over to his channel and actually really, because he goes in depth with this drill. I really encourage everyone to go and actually seek out the drill, the video that he's done. It's about a 25-minute video, and it really gets in depth. So yeah,
so you've trained with Travis Haley.
I took a class from him about a year ago. In fact, it'll be a year in September. And then I actually took a class from him when he was still with Magpul, which was years ago. And great man, great instructor, really knows his stuff. I really can't say anything. I can't really give him anything other than praise.
So for me, one of my people that I would like to train with, Travis Haley, is probably the top, if not the top. He's certainly right up there, and so it's kind of cool that you've actually had classes from him. And guys, thanks much for watching. Casey, thanks much for coming out.
Thanks for having me out. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, fun shooting. See you guys later.